Hey everybody, welcome to Indie Direct, where we look at nothing but new and obscure indie titles on the Steam page. Today, we're looking at one of the Shovel Knight games that just came out on December 10th, this one being Shovel Knight King of Cards. This prequel game actually sets you in the wonderful Regal boots of King Knight. And this prequel is actually showing how King Knight's adventure has got him to where it was when you saw him in the original. And it's a very interesting playthrough and a unique way of playing because unlike the original, he uses a lot of shoulder charges and a lot of different other relics that really change up the game a lot more and make it almost, I would say almost like the same, but in a different spin. But the level design and platforming is done phenomenally, and it's to be expected with the developers of Shovel Knight. Their games have always brought that to a higher level. Levels are bright and vibrant, some are dark and cold, and you can see that in the color palettes that they use. The character designs too are, again, just like they are in the original Shovel Knight, are very unique and all have their own different and unique looks. There are also a huge variety of artifacts to the game that is almost like your specials. So you have some of them which are like a hammer that if you hit an opponent, it drops a heart, or one where it's a flaming upward sword attack to a downward strike. There's a bunch of varieties and different ways to attack the bosses and even the enemies and traversing the level itself that it gives a lot of replayability. But speaking of the bosses, there are going to be a lot of familiar faces like Plague Knight and a few others actually. I can't remember at the top of my head right now, but there are a lot of familiar faces that are going to be in this game. Also a bunch of new faces. And you're trying to get them to join up on your airship so you can conquer the three kings and become the King of Justice, is the card game that it's called. But that's the other big thing about this game is the card game aspect of it. You're trying to become the King of Cards, where you play a game called Justice, I guess. Again, I can't really pronounce it. But what it is there will be blocks that you can set down your cards, and you have to move your characters or move their characters with other characters and fill in the blocks. But the gems that are actually on the board, you have to have your card over that by the time all of these slots have been filled up. So it can be quite complicated in some aspects, especially when you're trying to move certain cards and you can't because of certain directional arrows. And it's a very challenging game that it's amazing that they put it in here because they almost could have made it their own spin-off thing. But a lot of the card playing really isn't in the boss fights or anything like that. It's more in your airship for the people that you collect or the bosses that you defeat, and then in certain taverns where you're actually fighting a group of people in the cards, and then you're also at the end going to fight the master of that tavern. And there's a lot of cards in this game. We're talking about over 120 unique cards that are going to be in this game, from tier 1s all the way up to I think tier 3 or tier 4s. And a lot of variety to those. There's bomb ones, there's massive push ones, there's double push, there's singles and standards. But there's such a variety of ways to play that I honestly feel like they're testing this game, or at least the card game, out to maybe make it its own standalone, because I could see people actually playing this game almost like what they did with Gwent. You know, they put it out in the game and realize people like it, so then they make it a standalone thing and make online multiplayer for it. But hey, I'm down. I mean, I've loved Gwent ever since it finally came out, and to have more card games to where I can play my friends online and beat them and they get mad at me is just all the more fun. And like I said before with King Knight, it is going to be a different fighting style than what it was with Shovel Knight. He actually uses more of his full body and uses a thrusting motion to attack enemies, and once attacking he actually starts to spiral in the air, and you can start to do that just like what you did with the shovel. You can bounce off of things, walls, and then you can bounce off of characters and objects. It's the same way except with just his body, so it still has that type of platforming into it. And I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like it also gives it more difficulty, because you'll try to bounce and you get hit and you can kind of hopefully bring it back, but most of the time you end up failing. but doesn't mean that this game isn't a lot of fun. Of course, you're going to have trial and errors. That's a Shovel Knight game for you. And just with any Shovel Knight game, there are customizations and upgrades. You have your mom there who will help you get hearts. You just have to pay for them and everything like that. You also have capes that'll give you another special ability to your dash, or sometimes just for cosmetic looks. All in all, another great game that actually came from the Shovel Knight franchise, but also just to let you know, if you do have the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove game, you actually do not have to purchase this. All three of the games that were just released actually came onto Treasure Trove for you. So you guys can have fun with all three of them and not spend any more money. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description below for the game. I'm also going to leave a link for the Treasure Trove, which gives you every single game that is released so far. And if you guys don't mind, leave a like on the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you like what we're doing here. And if there's a game that you want us to review so you can see if it's good or bad, leave a comment down below. Let us waste our money, not yours. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.